Alright, howdy y'all. It's been a while. This video is gonna look like shit because my house is for sale, which means the house is empty. As you can see, I'm sitting on the floor. And I don't know where my tripod is because it's boxed up along with all my other crap. And that's why I haven't recorded in a while. And I just wanted to do a quick little blog off the cuff thing that I was thinking about on the drive home from work. So if you'll look next to me, you will see a big stack of Power Rangers toys, because that's what I've been collecting lately. This one came in the mail today. And today it was announced that a new Power Rangers reboot, after it got canceled last year, end of 2023. After it got canceled at the end of 2023, they're rebooting it. Now, if you've been paying attention, this is the second or third reboot that's been announced since like 2020. I think like one was officially announced and one was rumored. But they've been trying to reboot this thing for a while. And of course, there was the 2017 movie reboot. They keep trying to reboot Power Rangers. So I'll believe it when I see it. But because I've been a little obsessed with Power Rangers lately, I thought, hey, what the hell? People are talking about Power Rangers. Let's talk about this Power Rangers reboot. And I'm currently obsessed with Power Rangers because, stack of toys I've been collecting. So let's talk about it. So I made a list of 7 do's and don'ts, 7 things to do, a list of 7 priorities on how to make a Power Rangers reboot. Now, what is my expertise in this field? I liked it when I was a kid. I've read the comics. I've not actually watched as much Power Rangers as you might think for someone who buys this many toys. But no, I from reading the comics over the past 5 years and what I remember of my enjoyment of the show when I was a kid, this is how I would do a reboot. So, step number 1, don't make a reboot. Don't cancel the show. Why did they cancel the show? I feel like they keep trying to reboot Power Rangers. They keep like trying to do because they know that there are adult fans. They want to. It's hot in here. I'm taking my hat off. They want to end the show and do something a little more edgy, a little more teenage, a little more, something everyone can enjoy, like the Marvel Universe, which is, 7-year-olds watch it, but adults watch it. The thing is, Power Rangers never stopped being successful. It has been on the air for 30 years until it was canceled, like I said, a little over a year ago. And in that time, it's always picked up new fans. I don't really know, the ebbs and flows of the success of it, but it was made on the cheap. It was made incredibly cheap. And 7-year-olds watch it, and that's who you want watching it. It's made for kids. It's made for very young kids. And even though there are adult fans like me, I don't understand why we keep breaking what isn't, why we keep trying to fix what isn't broken and like make a new Power Rangers when Power Rangers is doing fine. It really didn't need a reboot, and I wouldn't have done one. I would have just kept the show going, but it's over, so that is what they're doing. So, step 2, maintain the toku aesthetic, the tokusatsu aesthetic of the original show. Now, obviously, the original Power Rangers was made using reused footage from the tokusatsu TV show Super Sentai. I don't know whether this new show will have the rights to use the Super Sentai costumes and footage. So if they don't, you should still try to make it look like Toku. I actually think the 2017 movie was quite good, but all the bad rap it got was because the costumes looked like shit and the robots looked like shit and it didn't look Toku and the action scenes weren't Toku. And I think action is kind of the important thing here. I think there's people don't respect, in America, people don't respect the action aesthetics of Toku, but those are what make Power Rangers, and I find them very respectable. I think there's a tradition to the action sequences and the costumes. That's what people are here for. Like, that's what made Power Rangers popular in the first place. Don't try to undo that or do it differently. Don't turn it into Marvel. it's supposed to look like that. That's why people like it. And changing it doesn't get you new fans. It just loses the people who are already watching it. Um, I also think even Toku fans underappreciate how good the action sequences were in the American, and by American I mean New Zealand Power Rangers, because that was where they made the show. I think the action sequences actually look quite good for television. But yeah, like do keep the action sequences Toku-y. Do I think what are the odds of Disney doing that? I think zero. I don't think this show will look Toku. I think the costumes might, but the lighting won't, the fight scenes won't. It's going to look like other TV shows. It's going to be CGI heavy. I don't think it's gonna have the shitty shaky cam that American TV action scenes have, and too much editing, and I don't know. That's how I think. It'd be cool if I'm wrong, but I think the odds of it actually having a Toku vibe are very low. Rule number 3: don't reboot it. Don't make it Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Make it a new Power Rangers. So the whole like gimmick of Power Rangers and Super Sentai is that every season is a brand new gimmick, is a brand new thing. It's not always dinosaur themed. It's not, one season they're cops, one season they're time travelers, one season they're pirates. Unless it's the American one and they didn't make them pirates for some reason. They're still wearing costumes that look like pirates, but they're not pirates, but whatever. Um, do a new thing. It can be in the old continuity or not. I would do it in the old continuity just so you can bring in cameos. But even if it's not, don't do Mighty Morphin. You can kind of do Mighty Morphin-ish vibes. Like it can be dinosaurs, but don't make the characters Trini, Zach, etc. The 2017 movie did that, I think, quite successfully, but it's been done to death, and there's a certain amount of fans who are like sick of Mighty Morphin getting all the attention. I understand why that is. Mighty Morphin is the most profitable, but I would still do something new. I would try to make it a little distinct from Mighty Morphin. If there's something I would bring from Mighty Morphin, that's going to come up in a few points here. So for the next point, I kind of glossed over this, but it's if the rumors are true, the vibe that they're going for in this one is going to be like the Disney Goosebumps show, which I haven't seen, but I have seen ads for, and I can kind of like we're moving up from like Power Rangers is for like 7-year-olds. We're maybe moving up to like 13 and 14-year-olds. So, assuming that is the audience, I would do this 50-50 ratio between superhero Power Rangers stuff and high school stuff. And I'm calling this the Ryan Parrott ratio. Ryan Parrott was the second writer on the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, or the Go Go Power Rangers comic, which is my favorite comic. And Ryan Parrott was my favorite writer on those Power Rangers comics. And what I think made his work so good was he maintained a really balanced ratio between Power Rangers stuff and high school stuff. I think the other Power Rangers comics leaned way too much into Power Rangers lore. And lore is important, but like we're here for the characters. So if you have nothing but high school stuff and not enough superhero stuff, you got a Surf Dracula situation. You've got a they're not morphing till episode 3 situation. You've got a there's no Megazord till episode 8, and that's the season finale situation. And that sucks. No one wants that. They should be morphing by episode 1. By the end of episode 1, they should be morphing. By episode 2, we should have seen some Zords. But if you're all superhero stuff, and I think this is a real problem with superhero media right now, you forget why we're here. All of Spider-Man's allies have superpowers now. It's just about people with superpowers. Spider-Man should have a civilian life so that we care about what he's fighting for. Same with Power Rangers. You want fights and action and cool superhero shit, but you also want them just going to school, and you want some drama. You want them all of them should have, every single character on the show should have an arc about their civilian life with a home problem. The comic did that again. Ryan Parrott's comics did that great, where like Kimberly's dealing with her parents' divorce. Jason's dad is sick, and they're worried about bills. Do that. Have them have civilian problems. Um, and then we care about them enough to follow them into the superhero stuff. Which, and now we're talking civilian problems. Number 5, you get some queer rep in there. Am I just doing this because I like queer representation? No. There is a very cynical reason to do this. Headlines. The Power Rangers has always been about diversity. Anyone who tells you otherwise is an idiot and a liar. It is in the original show. They say diversity is important, and they were always ethnically diverse. And that was a selling point from the beginning, because that was kind of how the 90s were. It was a big, like, ethnic diversity was kind of the thing that was hot. But there did not have an LGBT Power Ranger until the 2017 movie. They didn't have one in canon until the second to last season of the show. When you have LGBT representation, one, that gets you some drama, because you can have romance. Now, obviously, you can have straight romance, too. And I think we should have some love triangles. And if we're focusing on their civilian life, there's going to be some romance in there. Again, the comic did this well. One of my favorite storylines is about Bulk and Skull trying to find dates to prom. And I loved that story because it was just Archie with superhero stuff in the background. But with the added bonus of a gay romance, you get people talking about it. You get kids these days who are into the LGBT romance. You get them talking about the show. You get adult fans who look exactly like me, who hate everything, getting angry about the show. And when they're angry, then you have other adults who spend way too much time watching those people online being like, the chuds don't like that Power Rangers is gay now. Well, I'm going to go watch Power Rangers. It's free advertising. You may as well. It's, like I said, it's cynical, but, it gets free advertising. Do it. Number 6. Limit one evil Power Ranger. This is something I have noticed lately in the comics and whatnot, is that Power Rangers has leaned heavily on evil Power Rangers. Like, there's like a ton of them. And I love evil Power Rangers, but there's a little too many of them. I would keep it to one. And that's, if you don't have to do it, you don't have to adapt Mighty Morphin, but you can nod to the Green Ranger arc by having an evil Power Ranger that redeems himself. And definitely, like, draw that out, the redemption, because the kids these days love a good redemption arc. And that will, again, just like the LGBT thing, get you some free headlines as people discuss the bad boy or bad girl, evil ranger, and whether they're going to become good. And the very last point I would make is make it spooky. One thing that if you are going for, the Goosebumps vibes, and I actually think this is something that's kind of overlooked about the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, is there was kind of charm to the Halloween monsters of the original. The Power Rangers fought Frankenstein. The Power Rangers fought, a lot of just spooky, goofy looking ghosts and goblins. And the later Power Ranger seasons often had cooler monster designs, but they were going for more like manga, sci-fi, fantasy aesthetics. They were going for other aesthetics than just spooky Halloween monsters. And I think that might have been part of the secret to Mighty Morphin's success at the time, because Goosebumps was so big. Like, I mean, I was into Goosebumps and Power Rangers at the same time as a child. So, I don't know. I would lean into that. I mean, and then, of course, who could forget the movie? The Power Rangers movie had Ivan Ooze, who, has purple ooze, just like Goosebumps has green ooze. Ooze was all over the place in the 90s. We were all into goop and ooze and venom. And, yeah, bring that, Do it up spooky-like. Do the villains very spooky and Halloween-y, and I think lean into that. I mean, Power Rangers are a popular Halloween costume. I went as a Power Ranger this past year for Halloween, and I also went as a Power Ranger when I was like 8 years old for Halloween. So yeah, I would lean into the spookiness. This is the formula I would go with to make a new Power Rangers. But again, they shouldn't have canceled the old Power Rangers. It was working fine. Anyway, that's all I got for today. Later.